My review of the new GoPro Hero 4. So if you remember last year I did my review of the Hero 3 Plus, and looking at the comments and the feedback of that video, it seems like that most of you enjoyed that video and found that review helpful. So in this video I'm going to do a similar review format of the new GoPro Hero 4. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first I'm going to show you some videos and photos from the Hero 4, and then I'll move on to the battery life, the button layouts, the controls, and how to connect it to your smartphone, and etc. So the main upgrade for the GoPro Hero 4 is that this is able to record 4K videos at 30, 24, or 25 frames per second. Compared to the last generation, the 3 Plus, recording at 15 frames per second 4K videos, which was basically unusable, is a huge upgrade for most videographers. So here are some 4K videos I shot at 30 frames per second. You can also enable Super View mode for different resolutions. You can do this with 4K videos. Basically with Super View, it's going to give you an even wider angle, so you can get more subject in your shot. So here are a few differences between the normal wide angle view and the Super View mode. And also you can record 2.7K videos at 24, 25, 30, 48, or 50 frames per second. In my opinion, this is the best resolution to record at because it's still a really high resolution video and you can shoot at a high frame rate, because I still have the option to slow it down and create a more stabilized shot. You can also enable the Super View mode with 2.7K. You can also shoot 1440p videos at 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, 60, and 80 frames per second. So with 1080p HD, you can record in 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, 60, 90, and 120 frames per second. And the main attraction for me is the 120 frames per second slow motion 1080p HD video recording. So here are some 1080p HD videos I shot at 30 frames per second and some slow motion videos at 120 frames per second. With 720p and 960p resolution videos, you can also record at 120 fps. Unfortunately, you cannot record 240 frames per second. I know that's a feature that most people, including me, was waiting for, but it's not in the GoPro Hero 4. But if you want to record 240 frames per second, you can switch to WVGA, which you can record ultra slow motion videos, or if you want to record videos for a long time, but you want to keep the file size small, you can record at WVGA. And now let's take a look at some images I took with the Hero 4. So this takes 5, 7, or 13 megapixel images. You can shoot continuous photos from 3 to 10 photos per second, just hold on to the shutter button, and also burst mode to capture up to 30 photos per second. There's also the time-lapse feature, which takes images in time intervals from 0.5, 1, 2, 5, 10, 30, or 60 seconds. And also there's the night lapse feature, and it takes longer exposure photos to create these amazing night time-lapse videos. Something else I forgot to mention is that you can also shoot videos and photos in a flat color profile. As you can see, this doesn't have a lot of contrast or saturation, but it does have quite a bit of detail in the shot, high dynamic range. Same thing with photos. I can go to Lightroom and then edit all these flat colored images. Alright, so compared to the GoPro Hero 3 Plus in terms of the body design, there's not a huge difference. This has the exact same size, so if you have the 3 Plus waterproof casing, it's also going to work with the Hero 4. The case is pretty much the same. Of course, you can record videos underwater up to 40 meters or 130 feet. And the case is not too bulky, so still gives the GoPro a slim design. A few design differences between the 4 and the 3 Plus is that the LED lights on the front have moved and it's now right beside the screen. And also on the side, you might remember the 3 Plus has a Wi-Fi button. Now on the Hero 4, it's a settings button, so it's much easier to access settings. Just press on it and it's going to take you right to the video or photo settings. And just like all the other GoPro models, you navigate through the menu system with these two buttons. After a few days, you just get used to it, but it does take a little time to change settings. For example, if I want to change from 4K videos to 1080p or change the ISO or color profiles, only with these two buttons is not as convenient. So this is where the wireless feature comes in handy. I just have to go into the wireless settings and then open up Wi-Fi, and on my device or on my smartphone, I have to search for my GoPro and I can connect to my GoPro with my smartphone. You just have to download the GoPro application. So it's connected to my GoPro right now, and as you can see, this acts as a LCD screen because the GoPro itself doesn't have an LCD screen. It does have a tiny amount of lag in the preview, maybe just like 0.5 second lag, not that bad. From my experience using the GoPro applications, sometimes it just disconnects, and if I go to another application and go back to the GoPro app, sometimes I have to reconnect, which can be a hassle. But overall, connecting to the GoPro with my smartphone is fairly quick. Inside the application, you have the option to change video settings and photo settings, so it's much faster and more convenient to change settings here instead of changing it with just two buttons on the GoPro itself. So inside the video settings, you can change the default sub mode from video to video and photo and looping videos, and also the resolution from 4K to WVGA, the frame rate, the field of view. You can turn on or off spot meter and also Pro Tune. If you're not familiar with Pro Tune, before on the 3 Plus it was only in photos, but now you can also enable Pro Tune in videos. So this allows you to change the white balance, different colors, the ISO limit, the sharpness, the exposure value compensation. In the video settings, you can change from single to continuous to night mode, and also change the megapixel count, spot meter, and also Pro Tune, so you can also change the white balance, color, ISO, sharpness, exposure value compensation. Down here you get more settings for multi-shot and more settings for your device itself. You can also delete last file or all files from SD card. You can also locate your camera. If you enable it, your camera will make a beep sound. You can also connect your Wi-Fi remote, and at the bottom this also shows the battery level and also the SD card capacity. So inside the application you can also look at the preview of your images and videos. Of course, this is just a preview, so it's not going to show in full resolution. And using your application, of course, you can also record videos or take pictures. The format of the video will be H.264, and on the Hero 4 the bitrate is going to be 60 megabits per second. For the Silver Edition and the Black Edition 3 Plus, which records 45 megabits per second, the Hero 4 Black Edition is a nice upgrade, so you get more detail and higher quality in your videos. Now moving on to the battery life, this has a 1160 mAh battery. So here's the battery life chart from the GoPro website. You can see that with Wi-Fi off, you can record just over 1 hour of 4K footage. So the battery life in my opinion is not the best. From my experience, after recording a few 4K videos and 2.7K, and then changing a few settings and connecting to my smartphone, doing a few other stuff, the battery drained pretty fast. So because of the mediocre battery, I do highly recommend getting a few extra batteries. So if one battery runs out, you can simply replace it. The GoPro Hero 4 requires a Class 10 micro SD card, and this only supports up to 64 GB of storage. Considering if you shoot a lot of 4K videos, it takes quite a bit of space. So I'm not sure if 64 GB is going to be enough for all the 4K video shooters out there. With the auto low light feature, this automatically adjusts frame rate for optical low light performances, so it's going to perform quite well in low light situations. And last but not least, let's test out the microphone. Alright, so I'm currently editing this GoPro Hero 4 review video right now, and this is a microphone test of the Hero 4. And as you can see, I'm hardworking editing this video right now. It's gonna be a long video, I'd say over 10 minutes. So yeah, this is the microphone test. Alright, so this concludes my review of the GoPro Hero 4. If you want to check out my review of the 3 Plus, I'll leave it in the video description, so check it out. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or found it useful, and leave a comment down below on what you think of the GoPro Hero 4. Are you gonna get it? And also share this video on your social networks with your friend if they also want to check out the Hero 4.